Welcome to Every Run Counts. Today I'm going to talk to you about how I ran a sub 3 hour marathon at the first attempt at the age of, let's just say I was over 40. So if we go back to November 2022, I did the graduation run from our Couch to 5K course that we've been doing with Brecon Athletic Club. I came out with a 21:11, which I was very happy with. This was 16 months before the marathon. So then the question is, how did I get to a 2:59:39 16 months later? So on the 17th of March 2024, that's what I did. So this is how I did it. Now, this isn't everything that I did, but these are I think the most important things. So we're going to be looking at the mileage foundation and aerobic base, look at race at other distances, training, realism, structure, race execution, and enjoyment. Looking at mileage foundation. By April, I was running 69, almost 70k a week. By the time I got to January, February, I was in the 100, quite regularly, really managing to get through, put my legs through the paces. Whilst also doing the mileage foundation, you also got to make sure you can do some marathon pace blocks within your long runs. So I didn't do that until, I think in February, I started doing those, doing something a little bit faster, just to make sure I could actually try and hold marathon pace when my legs were tired as well. Which I was able to do, and it gave me a bit of confidence. Now, because I was coming from not knowing anything really about running, so I did quite a lot of internet research, watched YouTube videos, various things. But what I wanted to see was what could I do at the race distances. Now, as I said before, I probably decided that I was going to run a marathon about the September. But before that, in the June, I'd done a 5K in 17:58, again at the Grove Park run, which I was happy with. I also did a 10K in the November. It was a relatively hilly course. I did the Richard Burton 10K over in Port Talbot. It's a good fun, a really good event. I highly recommend people do it. But it is quite hilly. So 39:40, that was my first 10K race, so first time under 40 minutes as well. And then I also did a half marathon at the end of January over in Chepstow at the race course. I did that in 1:22:24, which I was really happy with, because that one I went into, I had no idea what I was even trying to get. I just went out and ran. So one of the things you can do for your first marathon, if you're not sure what you should be aiming for, you can use race equivalency time calculators. Now, there's a few on the internet that you can, if you just type in race equivalent times or race equivalency calculator, it'll come up with some various websites, and you can put in your 5K time or your 10K time, half marathon, and it'll kind of tell you roughly what time, if you trained well, that you could get in a marathon. So that is why I went in and I did the Chepstow half marathon. I wanted to see whether I was on track for hitting that time for the 3 hour marathon, and it went really well. It was relatively even paced, and I managed to have a little sprint finish at the end, and the last couple of kilometers were quite quick, and it gave me confidence knowing that I was going to be able to hit the equivalent time, 1:25, 1:26. If you're somewhere around there, then you're okay to give it a stab. So moving on from that, we're going to look at the training, the realism, and also the structure. So you've really got to look at how fast are you now, how long do you have to your marathon, and is that goal reasonable? So that was, as I said, that's why I did the half marathon. It's like, right, if I'd come out with a 1:30, then I would have been thinking, hang on a minute, I need to get a fair bit faster to be able to run this. Fortunately, I came in a fair bit quicker than I expected. So that kind of gave me a bit of confidence, saying, right, I am on the right track. If you're not there, it's not the end of the world. There is always another marathon. You're better off just setting your goals as something reasonable than actually going for something that you can't do. Looking at the training and the structure then, so you'll need to do you have the time? Think to yourself, have I got the time to do this? Because it will be 4 to 6 days a week, depending on how you train. 6 to 8 hours a week training. Can you be consistent? I didn't do any weight training for this or mobility or anything like that, but some people might need to do that to stave off injury. I like to do my runs in the morning before work. Can you do it? Can you be consistent? And especially for marathon training, you can get away with 5K or 10K training, not doing that, but for marathon, you just have to. Okay, so then looking at race execution. Now, for me, this is an area I definitely need to improve on. I needed to improve on that on the day as well. I think I got there more by luck than judgment, because I did have a bit of a nightmare at the start. So I'd been doing quite a lot of my training with a heart rate monitor, and unfortunately on the day, the battery ran out on my heart rate monitor, so that data was not available to me. which was a bit of a nightmare. What I should have done was just gone at 3-hour pace the whole way, but of course, clever me, I didn't. So I went off a little bit quicker than that, and then I had a hell of a struggle for the last 5 miles or so. It was just grit your teeth and get on with it. But what it did make me feel was I do not really want to feel like that again. It was running into a pretty significant headwind as well, which didn't help. But ultimately, it was my pacing.
Pace yourself!
But it's a good thing to do so that you can feel what that feels like. Having to grind out and then get that sprint on to get to just about dip under the 3 hours was really good for me. I did really enjoy that at the end, and I was quite happy. But thinking to myself, I would rather not do that again in that way. Do another marathon, but not like that. Now, this I think is the most important thing. You've got to look at why you're doing it. What are you getting out of running? Now, for me, it's about enjoying it. I want to enjoy the training. I want to spend time with other people. I also want to see what I can get out of myself. And if you do enjoy it, then it will be sustainable. It'll be something you can keep doing, regardless of how you feel, regardless of how fast you're going. If you just like being out there and like running and like the training, then you're halfway there, I think. I found I liked it a lot, so I just did it. Run with others if you can. Join a club or running group. But also another thing is take rest when you need it. Sometimes you can get stuck into a plan and you think to yourself, right, I need to get out. But if you're not recovering from your runs, then your training won't be working as well as it could be. So you need to make sure you get good sleep, try and minimize stress in your life. And yeah, as I say, just take that rest. If you're starting to get a bit of a niggle, no shame in backing out of a session, because you're better off coming back stronger than getting injured and missing weeks of training. And just remember that it's a long process. And if you want to be running well for the next 10, 15, 20 years, then the things you do now will really affect that. So just take your time. If you're not feeling well, don't go, and then come back stronger after that. So that brings us to the end of part 1. Thanks for watching. I am going to do another video on nutrition and kit and the kinds of sessions that I did that helped me get to that sub-3 marathon first time. Please look out for that, and remember to like and subscribe.